Take a look at a deck of playing cards. 52 cards, 4 suits, kings, queens, jacks, numbers, and symbols we all recognize instantly. They're used for poker nights, magic tricks, casinos, solitaire, and family games around the world. But playing cards were not invented for entertainment. They weren't created for games. They weren't designed for fun. And they certainly weren't meant to be harmless. The true story of playing cards is one of power, class, chance, propaganda, and control. A story that spans continents and more than 1,000 years. So where did playing cards really come from? And how did they quietly become one of the most universal objects in human history? Long before playing cards existed, humans were already obsessed with chance. Ancient civilizations cast lots, rolled dice, and used bones, stones, and marked sticks to predict outcomes. Chance was seen not as randomness, but as fate, guided by gods or destiny. In ancient China, divination tools were used to communicate with the unseen. In Rome, dice games were both wildly popular and frequently banned. In medieval Europe, gambling was tolerated, condemned, and embraced, sometimes all at once. Across cultures, humans searched for ways to turn uncertainty into symbols. Playing cards would eventually become the most elegant expression of that obsession. The earliest known playing cards originated in China during the Tang and Song dynasties over 1,000 years ago. These weren't paper cards like we know today. They were closer to paper money, lottery tickets, and game markers combined. Some early cards represented currency denominations. Others were tied to dice games or drinking games. This makes sense. China had already invented paper centuries earlier, a crucial technology that made portable cards possible. These early cards blurred the line between money, gambling, and play. They weren't toys, they were tools for betting, fortune, and social rituals. And once trade routes expanded, these tools began to travel. Through trade routes like the Silk Road, playing cards moved west. By the 13th and 14th centuries, they appeared in the Islamic world, particularly in Mamluk Egypt. Here, playing cards took on a new, recognizable form. The Mamluk deck had 4 suits: cups, swords, coins, and polo sticks. There were no queens, only kings and male court figures, reflecting cultural norms of the time. What's remarkable is how closely these designs resemble modern cards. In fact, many historians believe European cards are direct descendants of these Islamic decks. But Europe would soon reinterpret them. Playing cards arrived in Europe in the late 1300s and immediately caused controversy. They spread fast, too fast. Authorities worried about gambling, idleness, and social disorder. Some cities banned cards outright. Others restricted who could play them, often based on class. Yet bans didn't stop their spread. Cards were cheap, portable, and endlessly adaptable. They appeared in taverns, courts, military camps, and royal palaces. For the first time, nobles and peasants could engage in the same game using the same symbols. That worried people in power. The familiar suits we know, hearts, diamonds, clubs, and spades, originated in France. French card makers simplified earlier designs to make mass production easier. But the symbols weren't meaningless. Over time, people assigned interpretations. Spades were linked to weapons or nobility, hearts to religion or emotion, diamonds to wealth or commerce, clubs to agriculture or labor. Whether intentional or not, the deck became a miniature model of society. And then there's the number 52. 52 cards, 52 weeks in a year, 12 face cards, 12 months, 4 suits, 4 seasons. Was this deliberate or a coincidence reinforced by tradition? Historians debated, but the symbolism stuck. European decks introduced queens, a major shift from Islamic designs. Each king and queen came to represent authority, hierarchy, and identity.
Some decks even assigned names to the kings, linking them to historical or mythical figures. Charlemagne, Julius Caesar, King David, Alexander the Great. Whether players knew it or not, every hand of cards became a symbolic power struggle. Chance determined who held power. Skill determined how it was used. That balance between randomness and strategy is what made card games endlessly compelling. Throughout history, playing cards were frequently condemned. Religious leaders warned they led to vice. Governments taxed them heavily. Some regimes used them as propaganda tools. In certain periods, owning cards could brand someone as amoral. Yet cards persisted because they were more than games. They were social equalizers. Anyone could shuffle the deck. Anyone could win. That idea was dangerous. By the 19th century, playing cards had gone global. Standardized decks emerged. Jokers were added. Mass printing made cards ubiquitous. They entered casinos, magic shows, psychology experiments, and military downtime. Today, a deck of cards is one of the most recognizable objects on Earth. Yet we rarely think about what it represents. Playing cards survived because they reflect something fundamental about humanity. We live between chance and choice, between fate and control. Every shuffle resets the world. Every deal creates a new hierarchy. From ancient China to modern casinos, playing cards have quietly mirrored how societies think about power, luck, and fairness. They are simple, they are universal, and they are far older and stranger than most people realize. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden history of playing cards, subscribe to Board Games Historian for more stories behind the games we take for granted. Because every game has a past, and some of them are hiding in plain sight.
We are crafting board games, and our main focus is in ancient and historical board games. Our games are handmade and engraved in a pouch. With a pull of the cord, the game packs itself, and you are ready to go. For more information, you may check the link in the description.